Um, well, let's wrap up with Trove Topics. Topic number 4. Woo woo. Uh, this is the chance for the community to kind of come in and ask us questions. I sent out a tweet earlier, and people tweeted back. Some of them use the hashtag Trove Topics, which is always great. You can always follow me at Snarky Starky or the show at Trove Talk. So let's dive in. Up first, I have this came in later, but I figured it would be a good one to kick off. So where did the name Mr. Bento Box come from? This is from Zyger at Zyger1337. He says, I assume it has to do with the fight to the death for Bento. And I know you responded that he would be disappointed.
He's going to be disappointed. No, so the reason Mr. Bento Box happened was I used to have the username BeatdownBen, which was like inspired by Greg's Game Over Greggy. But people would be like, so are you beating yourself down? And I was like, no. This was in middle school. So then I decided to change it up, and I was really into video games at that point. So I was like, Ben to Game, which was like, in my mind, a pun on Born to Game, even though it's really not. So I was using that for a while, and I was never really happy with it. And then I was in, I think my junior year, I was talking to a friend, and they're like, oh, I really liked your Twitter username. It's like a bento box kind of thing, right? And I'm like, no, but that's better. So I switched to Mr. Bento Box because Bento Box just by itself was taken, and it keeps my name in it, which I thought was fun. So now I'm just Mr. Bento Box, and I really hope it's not cultural appropriation. Because that concept did not exist to me when I made it, and I've invested too many things into that name, so here we are.
That's fair. You're not trying to be racist.
I really didn't.
You are.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Up next, Brandon Gann at GamesGann asks, I'm sure you'll talk about PSX at length, but what was your favorite thing from the keynote? So I figured this could be our chance to kind of really delve into PSX. And we did talk a little bit about the Lost Legacy being one of the exciting announcements in The Last of Us 2. Obviously, what are your PSX memories?
So in terms of the keynote, I think Last of Us 2 is the biggest, or Last of Us Part 2 is the most significant moment to me. Not because I care about it as much as more Uncharted. I care about it equally to more Uncharted, but the reaction to that, first of all, was more of a surprise, and second of all, it's a sequel, which and it showed some amazing things, and it showed Ellie at 19. So I definitely, just the reaction everyone had to that, I was in the hotel sitting in the lobby, but I could hear everyone explode because they were watching it on the screen outside or on a TV inside, and everyone just lost their shit. I'm like, this is great. That was the defining moment.
Yeah, that was definitely a big moment in the room of you see, like, because it starts and you're like, oh, okay, we're getting to see some Days Gone, because it's forest, and then it's kind of run down truck and stuff, and then it pans back and you see the Firefly symbol, and everybody lost their goddamn mind, was like, this is amazing, oh my god. And then like, as much as they showed, and getting to see Ellie kind of bloodied and beaten sing the song, and then Joel walks in, and it was definitely a very powerful tease of what's to come. Like the fact that they kind of came in with it so much, saying like, this is a ways out. We're not going to see this anytime soon. But the team wanted to show you this early taste of it. I'm like, okay. I mean, like, I don't want to have to wait for this 2 years, guys, or 3 years, or however long it's going to be.
Fall 2018, calling it.
I want it now.
Come at me, Alex O'Neill.
Yeah. That was that was definitely a big moment, and the fact that Naughty Dog opened and closed the show, as I put in like my write up, was certainly a big deal, I think, and definitely shows. Or actually, I guess it was probably just a tweet or something that I put out, but definitely shows like they are the cream of the crop in Sony's mind, in Sony's eye, which I mean, like, we've pretty much all known for a while, but that they're acknowledging it in that way. And not giving maybe another studio the opportunity, the highlight here, certainly resonated with me. When in the Uncharted thing did you catch on that it was Uncharted?
So here's the thing.
Because you might not even been watching it.
I wasn't watching it when I started up the stream. I it had gotten to Marvel versus Capcom. So I loaded into that. So I only heard about Uncharted Lost Legacy by the title, and then I went back to watch the trailer. So people were saying like, oh, I didn't know who it was going to be. Was it going to be like Lara Croft? Was it going to be Chloe? Like, who is this person? Is it something entirely different? I went in knowing it was Chloe and Nadine. I knew all of that stuff when I watched the trailer, so...
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it starts out, and you've got the kind of the character. It's definitely closer than an Uncharted camera, so that was kind of a nice little swerve that they had. But as soon as you see other faces, I'm like, oh, this is the Uncharted thing, because it's the Uncharted version of Uncanny Valley, a little bit. And we're walking around. I'm sitting there. I'm like, is this Chloe? Are we getting a Chloe story? I almost I had a tweet that was basically that I waited almost the entire trailer to put out. That was basically like, and PSX starts with ... and I wrote Chloe, like Chloe Uncharted ? But I didn't hit send because I didn't want to like post it and then be wrong, find out I'm wrong like 10 seconds later or something. So I was like, oh, I wish I had like called that in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that was certainly a crazy reveal in the room as well. Getting to see everybody go crazy about that. Marvel vs. Capcom was not my as somebody that hasn't really been into fighting games, and the fact that it had basically leaked before.
Yeah.
It was still like cool and it was a great reveal, but I was mostly just amused by the fact that the first PSX Street Fighter V leaked in the exact same way. Like,
oh yeah.
Like it got leaked. I mean, that one was a little bit worse because like the trailer leaked beforehand. But yeah, it was like, wow, like Sony and Capcom are not good at like locking that down.
They really aren't.
Apparently.
Who is nowadays?
That's true. I mean, well, we didn't know about Uncharted Part 2.
That's true. Good job, Naughty Dog.
Or not Uncharted Part 2.
Last of Us Part 2. Yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah. So yeah, like I think this year was a much better paced conference than last year's was, especially than last year's.
Oh God.
It didn't end on something like Paragon, so that was always a solid choice. I was a little dismayed by the same things that I was dismayed by at the E3, in that like the lack of dates on a lot of these things. I'm like, okay, you're showing me stuff, and I'm excited for it, but I don't know when I should set my expectations on when this stuff's coming. So
sure.
It immediately dampens the expectation of, or the excitement for it. It's like, oh, this is awesome, but I have no idea when I'm going to play it. So, blech. Did you end up playing anything on the show floor? Or doing
I did, yeah. I played Horizon Zero Dawn, which was amazing. The PS4 crashed on me midway through, so I had to restart from the beginning.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun playing that.
Maybe it was you that broke down the Haunted Mansion, huh? How about that?
I mean, maybe it was the combined power of both of us.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. Both of our latent mutant powers.
No, I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I played Persona 5, which was really fun. The only problem being it took 3 hours to get through that line. It was a 5-minute long demo, and everyone finished before me because I was like towards the back of our group of friends in line. So they went and took a picture with Morgana, and they were trying to call me over, and the guys were like, nope, we don't have time for this. We're taking the photo right now. And they're like, okay. So there's a photo of everyone, and you just see the screen that I was playing on in the background where I was not allowed to be called over from. So that's fun.
Sad face.
Yeah. But no, those were really fun. I played this game called Future Grind. Future Grind? I think it's called Future Grind. It's a little indie game. I guess Franklin Sizemore Arctic Sloth says he saw it last year too, and they said it was going to be coming out soon and had not come out, and it still hasn't come out. But it's pretty cool. You're this little like cart, and you're basically grinding on rails placed throughout the level, but each or almost all the rails are color coded, and you have a wheel on the top and a wheel on the bottom, so you have to spin it so the right color matches with the rail, and if you don't, you explode. Yeah, no, it's cool. It was fun to play. I am keeping my eye on it now. And then we played 3-on-3 freestyle, the basketball game, which was surprisingly fun, even though we got decimated.
Cool. Yeah, as I wrote about in my like opus
Mm-hmm.
for the week, I didn't play anything. The things I was interested in, like Persona 5 and Horizon Zero Dawn, I wasn't interested in waiting in those lines.
Yeah.
For. And the things that, like the smaller things, like those games that I've been interested in, I've seen or played at other things. Like there, and absolutely there were a couple that like I played at last year's PSX that were still at this year's PSX.
I saw those too. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, there was the new. Sorry, there was the new Housemark game too. Which name I cannot remember right now. Is it? It's like Next. Is it Next? It's not Next Machina.
Next. Yeah, it is Next Machina.
It's Next Machina. Okay.
Because it's almost Ex Machina. And
yeah.
threw an N in there.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. No, I played that. I found that game on the floor, like the second I walked in, and there was no line, and I was like, okay, people are gonna figure out this is here really fast.
Yeah.
So I'm getting in line now.
Nice.
So I played that. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, I only did the Horizon Zero Dawn demo because it was during the Kind of Funny signing. So a bunch of people I was hanging out with, Kaylee and Zyger, they were up there handing out their little wristbands that I'm wearing. And nice.
Just not wearing it because
well,
I had to go to work the last couple days.
I respect that. My work is school. They don't give a shit.
There you go.
So I got in line for Horizon Zero Dawn while they were doing that. I only got in line for Persona 5 because everyone else was in line. So I was like, I'm here. I very quickly decided I was there for people. I was not there for games. But because the people I wanted to spend time with were in line for a game I wanted to play, I was like, this is fine. I'd be spending time with them anyway, so why not wait in a 3-hour-long line to play Persona 5?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it gave you, like, just like we had spent Friday hanging out at Disneyland.
Yeah.
In line for Haunted Mansion before it broke down on us. Gives you the time to catch up and visit with people and stuff.
Exactly.
So I totally, and I think, I was definitely a little more worn down, so I was not. If I had tried to wait in line for Persona for 3 hours, talking to everybody, I would have been like, oh, nope, I'm sleepy. I
That's fair.
Been very out of it come the evenings activities and stuff.
Yeah.
So, cool. Anything else PSX related that you want to touch on? I mean,
hang out with everybody.
Like I said, yeah, everybody. Like all the time we got to spend.
I mean, I could spend the next 15 minutes just like rattling off the names of everyone that I got to see and love dearly, and wish lived nearby, but that would be time consuming and probably uninteresting.
Indeed. So instead, we'll go into the time-consuming, non-interesting thing of you talking about Hufflepuffs. So Barrett Courtney at Banandler Chong says, please explain in great detail why Slytherin is the best house. And Quentin Hoffman at Quantum_Arbiter replied, quick answer, it just is. And then you obviously were like, all right, we're talking about Hufflepuffs. So
yeah, well, I mean, they opened.
Nice, you got the scarf.
It's a Newt Scamander scarf from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The main character of the new series of Harry Potter movies is a Hufflepuff. Suck it.
I mean, until he's not the main character anymore, and they turn it into a Grindelwald versus Dumbledore story. But okay,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
That's probably gonna happen. You're right, but I don't care.
I'm working on. I'm possibly by the time this is posted. Definitely by the time this is posted, this segment is posted. I should have a piece up on Trevor Trove, basically talking about that as my theory of like my big concern of the Fantastic Beasts movies.
We'll see what happens. I have faith in J.K. Rowling. And I mean, you could make the argument that it's barely Newt Scamander's movie to begin with.
Exactly, very much so.
When I saw that movie, I saw it with 4 people. I'm just going to talk about Fantastic Beasts now. I saw it with 4 people, 2 of which loved it, and 2 of which did not like it. I hate those people. But I was driving back, and they were complaining about it. And the one complaint they had, or not even a complaint, but the one insight they had that I actually think is really accurate, it's basically Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The main character does not change or grow or do any of that. The main character just is. He's a cool character that you go on the ride with. The character that you're actually going to watch grow and evolve is the sidekick. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's Cameron. In this one, it is the guy whose name I don't remember right now, but starts with a K.
Yeah. And you get the same thing in that's the the fatal flaw of Back to the Future as well, is that Marty doesn't grow.
That's true.
It's all about George McFly, his growth.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really mind because I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off, so I accept that formula.
There you go.
But no, so Hufflepuff. I don't feel the need to talk about Hufflepuff. But I'm also not going to call Slytherin.
Hufflepuffs wouldn't talk about Hufflepuffs.
Yeah. I'm also not going to call Slytherin the best house because it's not. So they're fine. They're great. Some very good people are in Slytherin. Lin-Manuel Miranda's a Slytherin.
Yeah.
But
it is a house of ambition.
It is a house of ambition, and I respect that. Personally, I think Hufflepuff is my favorite house, and then Ravenclaw, and then I don't really know beyond that, honestly. Gryffindor and Slytherin both have their faults. So does Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff, don't get me wrong. But Hufflepuff is J.K. Rowling's favorite house, and our basis is on loyalty. And while I'm not saying that all you need in life is loyalty, you can still value bravery and wisdom and ambition. I'm just saying I'd rather have a friend who's loyal before anything else than ambitious before anything else. So Hufflepuff.
It's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No. I bring up Hufflepuff a lot. I don't mean to. It just whenever I'm explaining myself or like the reason I do something, it's so easy to just describe me by being like, I'm really Hufflepuff. Like, oh, why'd you end up spending all your time talking to your friends at PSX and not going to play video games? I'm like, because I'm Hufflepuff as hell. Because this is what matters to me more.
I think I mentioned it to you. Are you familiar with, or it might have been other people, are you familiar with the Harry Potter musical on YouTube?
I am.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines in there is like,
Hufflepuffs are particularly good finders.
Yes,
Yeah.
Cedric Diggory says that, and like what Dumbledore somebody says back like, what the fuck's a Hufflepuff?
We never lived that down. We're such a misunderstood house.
I mean, it like you suffer from the core books because they're like Cedric Diggory is the most Hufflepuff of note character.
Yeah.
And
no,
he
Tonks.
goes out, like he. I mean, of note. Was
Tonks is worth note.
Yeah, she
Tonks is
but
great.
Cedric Diggory more so.
Okay, fine.
And he goes out as to Voldemort. So, yeah, that's why I think Hufflepuff gets a bad rap.
We do.
I mean, like, obviously you've got the battle between the Gryffindors and the Slytherins, and then Ravenclaw has like the smarty goody two shoes, kind of like
Luna Lovegood, like they Ravenclaw's a very good house. I respect the hell out of Ravenclaw. I just love my house. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Moving on. Zyger comes back with you're one of the nicest guys I've had the pleasure of meeting, but why do you like pineapple on pizza?
Okay, so we're just hitting all the Ben things right now.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's. I mean, like I did say you were coming on the show, so they did kind of target the questions too.
I know. So first of all, I'm not one of the nicest people you know. I don't know. I'm not. I'm okay. But why do I like pineapple on pizza? It's really simple. I have taste buds. That's kind of it. No, I had
a Slytherin answer.
Yeah. I'm very sarcastic. I can be loyal and loving and sarcastic. No, I don't really mind people not liking pineapple on pizza. That's fine. Like people are allowed to like different things. I've gotten very defensive. A, because I kind of started the whole kind of funny argument over it. I brought it up. And that spiraled, so I just invested myself because I like investing myself in stupid stuff. Like the use of the word basically.
There you go.
Yeah. But there are people who are like, oh, pineapple on pizza is gross, or like, that's not what pizza is. And I'm like, okay, get over yourself. Pizza was bread with leftovers thrown on. That is the traditional ancestry of pizza. There is no such thing as like an affront to what makes pizza pizza. It's bread, it's sauce, it's cheese, and it's other things thrown on top. And if it tastes good, that is pizza. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Brian I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Brian writes code.
Keshinger?
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 I don't know.
Keshinger? Yeah. Yes, Brian writes code.
I remember this fight.
Okay. Zyger continues. If you didn't have to go to school that Monday and went to Disney with us, would you have dabbed?
God damn right, I would have.
To the picture that Zyger, Frank, and I have in our final moments of our Disneyland time on Splash Mountain, where we each dabbed out like different sides of the log. I have no doubt that you would have dabbed.
Oh yeah,
if freaking I dabbed, then anybody would have gone.
I have no shame. I mean, I have some shame, but I have very little.
So that's actually take 2, because the first time we went on, we had like some random stranger with us, and we definitely kind of wanted that picture more just to see what the guy was doing behind us. But we got through, and it was like 11:58, and the park was closing at midnight, and the guy was basically like, "You guys want to go again?" And so we got up. The guy behind us got off, and then Zyger and Frank moved so that Zyger would get front and get soaked this time around, and then we went on the ride again, and so that was our dab picture. We did the same pose both times, but in the one that got lost to time because we weren't there to go and grab the image, we had a complete random stranger with us, and it's entirely
you don't know.
possible. It's entirely possible he dabbed along with us, because we basically made no shame in saying like our plan to dab, and we practiced like beforehand which side each of us were going to go, so he could have absolutely been like, "Oh, that's what they're doing?
Yeah.
All right, I'm in." And then he could have done it too. But we will never know. He knows.
I mean, you say it's lost to time. There's a good chance he has that photo. It could exist.
It's possible. And I could probably go through, because I have the number for ours. I could probably go back through the number on like the Disneyland app and find it. Oh yeah. But I'm not going to invest the time to do that.
That's a lot of work.
That much. I'm not going to seek out another picture of dabbing that much. Up next, Brienne, who we spoke of earlier at Miss Movies, asks, "Why are you guys my favorite?"
Aww.
And I don't know. I mean, like, you've got an excuse because you actually help her out with stuff.
I mean, I feel like, at least in my case, I apparently have successfully tricked her into thinking I'm okay. Don't know how I pulled that off. It's gonna blow up in my face eventually, I assume.
She's out there talking to one of your movie heroes, Jeremy Johns.
Yeah.
Getting him to.
Yeah.
That was. I think I told her about that when, or I talked to her about that when we met up on Monday at Disneyland, because like. It was probably Friday night when we were like in the hotel.
Yeah, it was Friday night.
Like, you look at your phone, you're like, what the hell did Brienne do?
Fuck?
Because he just tweeted like,
yeah.
"Hey, Mr. Bento Box is pretty cool," or something like that.
It wasn't like liking my page or following me or tweeting at me. It was just like a tweet that all of his followers could see. And someone replied to that and they're like, "Who is he? Why is he why is he the best? What's going on?" And I'm like, "I don't know either, friend. I don't know either."
Yeah, and so I don't know if you heard the story from Brienne after the fact.
Not heard the story. I told her I was going to ask her, but I haven't seen her yet, so.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit at Disneyland. She basically was like, "Oh yeah, like we had recorded something and just went out for dinner afterwards, and she mentioned that like, oh yeah, we've got like a pseudo intern, this guy Ben. He's a big fan of yours, and so Jeremy was like, "Oh, I'm totally gonna tweet at him right now," and so yeah, they turned it into a thing for you.
I love that, man. She did her film therapy episode with him yesterday, I think, and I was watching that, and I was in like the live chat because it's a live show. So because I was in it, she's like, "Oh, that's the guy I had you tweet at." So like they talked about me briefly on that. I'm like, I love everything right now.
Hooray! Nice. Yeah, she and I, we like sitting down on a Disneyland park bench. She did like a mini film therapy video with me.
Nice.
So I don't know how she distributes those little like 1 or 2 minute videos, but it'll be.
I'm pretty sure it's up.
It's somewhere in her phone.
Yeah.
At the least. We talked a little bit about the movie Stardust, which is.
I love Brienne so much.
She's so great.
Yeah.
I got to meet her at Let's Play Live.
Right.
Was where we first met up, and I'm sitting next to her, and she's talking about how she got into the guys through the Max Landis episode and started just going back through everything, and then she's talking about like, oh yeah, like I've done some stuff with Screen Junkies. I was like, oh my god, you have?
Yeah,
that's amazing. So yeah, I was like, it's crazy. It's a small world of like some of the things I'm a big fan of.
Yeah,
all colliding and stuff. And colliding, hey, collider, boom, nailed it.
We've ended up in a weird circle.
Yeah.
Like I see people, you know, working on their way to getting jobs in like games media or working in games media, like Barrett at IGN, and like Brienne knowing all these people who I've been watching on Screen Junkies and other platforms for a long time, and I'm like, I exist in the periphery of this world. Like, give it 5-10 years now, and so many people from like our little kind of funny section of the community are going to be doing these crazy things and like going to be a significant part of video games and just entertainment media as a whole, and that's insane.
Yeah, we're 2 or 3 degrees from like the center circle right now.
Yeah,
and we're just kind of moving inward. I don't know if that explains why you are or why we are your favorite, Brienne, but you are our favorite as well. So thank you for the question and the support, and just being awesome in general. And,
Aren't you?
And thanks for hanging out at Disneyland for a little bit with me, not
Ben.
me.
Yeah, no, because I had school.
Ben didn't like you enough to come and ditch school that day.
I didn't know she was gonna be there.
I told you she was gonna be there. I said on Friday, I was like, oh yeah, Brienne's coming.
It was a long weekend.
All right. Up next, the Reverend Cameron Abbott at Unsexiest Comedy asks, you fuckers need to talk Hamilton. Also, personal and professional rivalries. So we talked Hamilton a little bit.
We did talk Hamilton a little bit.
Absolutely, we need to talk Hamilton. So,
okay.
For those that don't know who are watching, me, Ben, Moises, who we talked about earlier, and Alex O'Neill, we've kind of like created ourselves as like a little quartet to mirror the quartet of Hamilton and his friends in the show. So you've got Lawrence, you've got Mulligan, you've got Lafayette, and Hamilton himself. I in talking with Alex over the weekend, we talked about who's of Alex and I, who is Hamilton and who is Burr, and I said I'm Burr.
You're not Burr.
And we've kind of stepped outside of that, and I rethought it as I was listening to the Hamilton Mixtape on my flight back home. I was like, oh shit, no, I'm Washington.
Yeah.
I'm totally taking Washington.
I mean, when we grouped ourselves, we were grouping ourselves into that 4.
Yeah, just into that little quartet.
And because like who I am, I think varies a lot depending on how broad you're willing to go. So if you're talking like any male character in Hamilton, I'm not entirely sure who I am. I feel like Lafayette's a good fit. I am French, but I mean not entirely French, but a significant part of my ancestry is French.
Bellevue, yeah.
Bellevue, yeah. Oh well, see, I don't have the last name because of my French ancestry. Okay. Yeah, it throws people off. They're like, so you're French? I'm like, yes, but I'm also part Native American, and we grew up, and like that part was from lower Eastern Canada where the French took over, so they just gave us that name. Bellevue means beautiful view, so I just assumed one of my ancestors was hot.
Nice.
Yeah. So what was I saying? But like, if you open it up that I could be any character in Hamilton, which one defines me? I'm Eliza. I'm 100% Eliza. I took a quiz. Okay. I took a quiz. Which Hamilton character are you? Quiz, and it said Eliza, and I was like, yeah, that's what I expected.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when we talked, or when we were hanging out, like the Hamilton Mixtape now, like the series of like remixes and songs inspired by Hamilton and some of the cut songs had just dropped.
Yep.
You'd listened to? Had you listened to it?
I think I listened to all of it. Okay. There might have been a couple songs at the very end that I didn't hear until I drove up on Friday, but I definitely heard all of it by the end. By like Saturday, I'd heard all of it.
Okay. So what are your now that I have listened to it myself and can be more informed on the conversation?
Sure.
What are your thoughts on the Hamilton Mixtape?
I like it a lot. I listened to all the tracks being dropped throughout the time period, and I knew I liked some of them more than the others. For the most part, I prefer the songs that are inspired by the concepts or like a certain phrase. Like Immigrants is great. Congratulations, which isn't inspired, it's a cutout from the actual show that wasn't used. But I love Congratulations. So it is a mixed bag, especially for the covers of songs I love. But there are ones I like a lot. I like It's Quiet Uptown by Kelly Clarkson a lot. I like Dear Theodosia, the first one, not the reprise, a lot.
The Regina Spektor and Ben Folds version?
Yes. I like, I forget what it is. It's whatever Watsky does. It's fun, though. I enjoy it. It's he insults John Adams.
The John Adams rap?
Yeah, the John Adams rap. And I love Watsky, so I was like really excited when I heard he was going to be on it. But overall, I like it a lot. I kind of see it as a companion piece to Hamilton, the actual soundtrack, obviously. So in a way, it's like I can listen to Hamilton and enjoy all of that. And if I want a different take on a song, or I want to keep listening to Hamilton, but I'm a little too sick of the original Hamilton because I listen to it all the goddamn time. I can go to the mixtape and listen to that and have a good old time there, and then go back to Hamilton, and it won't be so familiar.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. In terms of like the songs, Congratulations is the one that I keep
it's so good
myself going back to. And it was like of the songs that had been cut from the show, because I'd already listened to like all of those in like previous versions. Like I tracked them down on YouTube, so I'd already heard all of them. And that and the John Adams rap are the only ones I think that they really actually like redid for this, as opposed to just Lin-Manuel's demos.
Cabinet Battle Demo 3
and Cabinet Battle 3 are just him doing them and doing all the parts. So yeah, the fact that they like Congratulations was my favorite of those, and so the fact that they recognized the strength of that song and gave it kind of the full like let's bring in another artist to kind of do it, I think speaks to their confidence in that song as well. Like Immigrants and Wrote My Way Out are probably a couple of my favorite songs.
Wrote My Way Out's good.
When Immigrants dropped, like I listened to that and just immediately like was addicted to the beat and the word flow of it. Wrote My Way Out, I will listen to that and sing the hook of that one like on my way to lunch every day, basically at this point now at work. So that's a ton of fun. Yeah, I think kind of like you touched on, I think maybe the weakest elements might even be the like some of the straight up covers.
Yeah, I don't like
my taste.
I don't like the John Legend cover of History Has Its Eyes on You at all, which bothers me deeply because I love John Legend as a musician and I love Chrissy Teigen. So I want to love John Legend just because of my love for Chrissy Teigen. But
yeah, it definitely like they like that and Wait For It. They play with the syncopation in ways that I don't.
Yeah.
That don't.
The thing
just are different enough that I'm like. But the original is so good. Why did you Why did you mess with that?
The thing is, I think at the end of the day, I kind of love the mixtape. Even for its faults, I love that we are at this point where we were so willing, or some people were so willing to create this thing that does mess with it and explores and experiments and tries new things. And not just in and let's stand in a soundstage and like experiment, but then not release any of these things. Like they put it out and it exists, and I think that's cool. I don't think we have the album that's perfect. This is a mixtape. Yeah. This is a way to try things out, to have some fun, and I don't need to love everything on that for me to think it was worth it or be happy with its creation.
Yeah, I'm like Lin-Manuel's already like made tweets alluding to a like mixtape volume 2, which I'm like super excited at the prospect of for some of the songs that didn't get like love here. I don't know, something like imagine like a Destiny's Child doing Skylar Sisters or something like that.
Oh God, yeah.
Would be and like if anybody could pull it off, I think Lin-Manuel is that person.
Yeah.
To get Beyonce to come in and do that. Yeah. So like Nonstop, I want to see kind of reworked and played with a little bit, just because that's one of my favorite songs on the album. So yeah, I'm interested to see kind of what they do with it. Oh, like I think the only like inspired by song that I didn't really connect with was the Say Yes to This.
I hate that song.
Yeah.
I hate that song. I can't stand
it. But it just hits me in all the maybe I just don't,
because it flows poorly and it doesn't do anything interesting with the concepts. It just changes a word and think it's like, I don't like it.
They just kind of write a new song over the music of the original song, and don't really abide by the tempo at times and the the time signature and stuff, and just like I don't know why you that's the weakest on the album for me.
What I think would have been cool, and what I kind of expected to be what happened when I saw the title Say Yes to This, would have been for it to be the Say No to This storyline, but from the perspective of Mariah, thank you. Mariah Reynolds. And, I think that would have been cool, and I think that could have worked, but they just kind of did this weird thing, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and I thought the exact same thing, but then as I started thinking about it more, I'm like, I mean, Say Yes or Say No to This is split between Mariah and Alexander, so
But it explores his headspace,
very
not
true,
hers.
Very true. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Cool. Well, to Cameron's second point of personal and professional rivalries, do you have any in the vein of an Aaron Burr versus Alexander Hamilton kind of rivalry?
Yeah, not really. I don't have much of a profession at this point. I go to school. I like everyone for the most part at my school. Most of the film majors I know, most of the people I know are in my fraternity. And we're all a family, so I'm not going to have a rivalry with them. I have a rival with... Why can't I say that word right now? I have a rivalry with Danny Juarez, apparently. He decided that. I didn't.
There you go. What'd you do to piss off Danny?
I had a differing opinion on something. I forget what it was. I think it was Suicide Squad. Or Harry Potter. It might have been Harry Potter. It was one of the two. Could have been a combination. But, yeah, there's that. And then we decided we were going to be friends. I mean, we are friends. But we decided we were going to be... not rivals over PSX, and we weren't. And he posted something a couple days ago. I forget what it was, but I looked at that. No, it was Spider-Man. He's like, I don't care about the Spider-Man trailer, and I was like, we back. I hate you. I love you, but I hate you.
You're dead to me again.
Yeah.
For me, in what I'm currently doing, the closest I would have that I would say would be like Alex O'Neill, but it's not. It's not like a rivalry.
Yeah.
It's like we push each other to be better.
Yeah.
Kind of rivalry. And there's nothing but love between us. In my past life doing acting and stuff, I definitely faced it much more because in theater and film and stuff, there's so much casting is so much based on type. So there was me and my friend Nathan and my friend Tyler, who again we're all friends, but we were pretty much always going up against each other for the same roles, and so
Makes
it was
sense.
There was a little bit of rivalry going on there where one of us would get it in over the other two or something like that, and I'm sure there were more people, but those are the two couple of guys that come to mind immediately. Blessing Eddie Oye, Blessing Jr. Asks a question which we already kind of touched on a little bit. How did he end up being the nicest guy on Twitter?
Again, I have tricked you effectively, apparently. No, I like you guys, and I want you to like me. And we went over the fact that I moved beyond pretending to be someone I'm not, but I try and focus on being a nice person to people because that will make them like me. So it's a very self-centered way to do it. It's
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not that I don't want to hurt people either, but I definitely know there are moments where I play up the niceness because I'm just this will probably look good.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't believe it. I just focus on it more than I might if I was not thinking about it.
Yeah. Jasmine Townsell at Snazosaurus asks, where do you see the trend of games going in the new year?
Jesus. I feel to a degree, what next year's trends in games are going to be are kind of locked down already. For the most part, what's announced and what's coming out. There'll probably be some indie games that come out and surprise everybody, but I have no idea, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like I would go industry wise and say kind of we'll see kind of advancement of some of the trends that I think started.
Yeah,
this
that's the
year
thing. I think it's just progression.
in seeing, yeah, like in terms of like I'm not talking at it or not approaching it from a sense of like last year was the year of the open world RPG where you had like Fallout and you had Witcher and to an extent like Metal Gear 5, the 100-hour experience. I'm looking at it more like next year you'll probably have more publishers like Bethesda basically holding review copies and saying,
oh yeah,
okay, this is fine, so we'll go ahead and do that too. And I think what we're already seeing with like Sony, I think you'll continue seeing where people are just very gun shy of announcing release dates because of how the fever pitch goes nuts when a game gets pushed. So I think you're going to start seeing or continue seeing more and more games that are announced and teased years before they're ever going to come out and no dates given, or the next year given, but no like firm kind of timing.
I could definitely see, if not in this year, I think it's something that's progressively going to become more and more of a thing, is games will hold their release date more because like the companies are realizing we have to be way more sure than we've been. Because people like, it's funny, South Park: The Stick of Truth should be out by now. Like,
right.
I spent $60 to pre-order that digitally on my PS4 because I wanted to get, or not The Stick of Truth, the Fractured But Whole.
The Fractured But Whole, yeah.
Because I pre-ordered it to get The Stick of Truth, and I played The Stick of Truth, and it was lovely, and I'm glad I did that. But I have this game that I've spent money on just waiting for me, and it doesn't come for a while now because it got pushed. So it's just like, especially when you do something like that where you push so heavily for people to pre-order and drop all their money right then, you really need to hold your release date.
Yeah. So I definitely think that you'll start seeing dates are being held until they know it's going to come, and then they'll give you probably like 3 months. But they'll still say pre-order now.
Oh yeah.
And there will just be a placeholder date of like the next year or something like that.
Just don't pre-order. Unless it's a collector's edition, just don't pre-order. Yeah, that
is sadly, like, I feel like we're speaking to the choir when we say that kind of stuff. And I'm like I'm guilty of it myself. Just pre-ordering games. Like I do it though. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it so that I can be part of the conversation coverage-wise, not because I need to play the game day one. And sometimes I just don't at all. Like Last Guardian, I'm like I might get around to that. It's still on my list of games I want to play by the end of the year, but I didn't pre-order it because I didn't care about it. Yeah. The only pre-order I have out right now is for Persona 5.
Yeah, I mean,
it is the collector's edition.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference I think between pre-ordering and collector's edition, because that's an exclusive. Like, I have the Horizon Zero Dawn pre-order out. I got home from PSX and the Persona 5 collector's edition was still on Amazon. And I was like, screw it. So I have that pre-ordered now too. But like, if you pre-order a game 3 days before it comes out, that is a completely different story. That is basically just you guaranteeing that Amazon will ship it to you that on the day you want, or that it'll be preloaded onto your PS4 and ready for you. But pre-ordering months in advance or even weeks in advance, it's like, why? Yeah. Unless you're getting something specifically, like I got the Stick of Truth or the collector's edition. Like, it's just
yeah. Especially if you're in a place where you can play digitally, and we'll be buying digitally. There's like, the only reason would be so you can play it like when it unlocks. Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, scarcity in gaming is not a thing like it used to be.
And I think I think if you buy it a couple hours before it releases officially, or like a day before it releases to preload it, I don't even consider that pre-ordering. That's just buying it.
Yeah. Fiona McKinnon asks, if you had to be someone else in the community for a day, at Zeranix, sorry. If you had to be someone else in the community for one day, who would that be and why?
That's such a weird question. Who would I be? I mean, Zyger has the Zyger money and the connections. I'm just thinking about like there are people who I respect so much. Like I respect you and Alex for how much you worked as writers, and the connections you guys have built. And I respect Allie because she's a freaking genius, and one of the best people I know. But those qualities are you as people, not like your mental state. So if I became one of you for a day, I'm still gonna have my mind, or it's irrelevant. So it just kind of becomes like, who's in a situation that I want to like live that life for a day. So, I want to be Andy Cortez because he works at Rooster Teeth. That is the life I will take. I will be a terrible animator for a day because I don't know that shit at all. But I'll take Andy Cortez's life. I've never met Andy or spoken to him, so if he ever sees this is a weird thing for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be sure to try and clip this segment out.
Okay.
And be like, I want to be Andy Cortez.
I want to be Andy Cortez for a day.
No context for him at all.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna send it to him and be like, hey,
it's fair.
Heads up, dude. This guy might want.
I'm stealing your life.
Well, since you're going Andy Cortez, I'm gonna say Brienne, so I can then have dinner with Jeremy Johns and say, hey, go ahead and tweet at this Mr. Bento Box guy. or in this case, at Maximum Cortez. Also
a great option. I don't want to deal with two kids.
That's fair.
Yeah, I will fail.
To that in a more legitimate sense, I do think of like somebody like Brienne or someone like Allie, just to like, I already know that this industry and culture is way worse for women, it sucks and it's horrible, and I don't get that. Like I don't know to the level of what kind of like shit that those people get. I'm friends with Brittany Braunbacher at Blonde Nerd, and she tweeted out the other day that somebody like froze her in a video. They like took a screenshot of her with her mouth open in a video and photoshopped their dick into it.
Wow.
And it's like, and sent it to her. And it's like, how like, what kind of mental toll does that take on you when you get that as much as you do? That like, that's horrifying and just terrible. And so
if I could have,
if I could experience it so that I can be more empathetic and try and be a bigger like defender of that coming out on the other side, that's probably what I actually would do.
That's a really good answer. I was thinking of it in like a fun way, but if I could be in Allie or Brienne's place for like a day of a convention, just walking around, seeing what's posted on their YouTube videos or something, that would probably be the most insightful and like character growing experience I could have. That would be interesting.
Yeah. All right, and closing us out, we have Alex Simon.
Oh Jesus Christ, Alex.
_Simon_DP, who asks, why are trucks?
Okay. You don't know Alex. Alex is in my fraternity. He goes to school with me.
I don't. I'm assuming this was a guy you know and an inside joke.
Yeah.
Because my answer is, why are trucks? 'Cause America. I
love that answer. Here's the thing. It's not an inside joke whatsoever. It's just Alex. He's a walking meme. I had a Snapchat yesterday that was just a photo of him with the caption, my least favorite meme. 'Cause he is. No, I like the because America. I don't have a good answer for that. Like, okay, you like the because America like seals the deal. That's the best answer.
Not because, just cuz.
Oh, cuz. You're right.
CUZ apostrophe MERICA.
Alex, cuz America.
Great. Well, that wraps up the Trove Topics for and this week of Trove Topics.
Awesome.
Thank you, Ben, for joining me. Go ahead and make any kind of like plugs or social media stuff that that you want to try and get people to follow.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, which is where I'm the most active, at Mr_BentoBox. You can follow me on Snapchat, Ben2Game, which is BEN2TO game. I don't do super interesting things like all my friends. Like, I don't have a podcast. I don't write blogs. I have none of that. So you're following me for very insightful Twitter posts about how much school's killing me. Just keep that in mind.
And how great Hamilton is.
Yeah. And you can follow me on pretty much anything else at Mr. Bento Box. PS4, Instagram, everything. I've claimed it for most. I've claimed it for most sites.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. Because my branding is just atrocious. Because I go from Snarky Starkey to T Starkey 0810 on some things, and then other things I'm just Trevor.Starkey or something like that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I'm just that on Snapchat. Because I did not think, hey, I should like unify everything under one name. Or when I did start thinking of that with like Snarky Starkey, I was like, well, I've already got too many things that I can't change my names on.
Yeah.
I
deleted my old account when the PS4 came out. I didn't delete it. I still have it. But like when the PS4 came out, I just created a new PSN account. I was like, I'm Mr. Bento Box now. Screw it.
Cool. Nice. But yeah, you can follow me at Snarky Starkey, as I just said, or you can follow the show at Trove Talk. You can. The big thing I've done recently, as of recording this, is I wrote up my PSX detailed, like day by day breakdown of the event, nearly 8,000 words that you can read over on TrevorTrove.com. And God willing, by the time you're seeing this, I've also added a couple of think pieces kind of outside of the gaming sphere. One of them being I'll be touching on the Hamilton Mixtape, and then another being, as we talked about earlier in the show, kind of my theory on, or my fear of Newt Scamander becoming like a supporting character in his own movies with the Fantastic Beasts series. So look for those. Hopefully they should be up on TrevorTrove.com. And yeah, I think that's about it. Until next time, treasure your friends.